Right now at 6, a 6-hour battle for firefighters in Warrens, the hidden danger that they managed to avoid, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court decision that has the state's top Democrats celebrating.
Watching WKBT La Crosse, this is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Emily is off tonight. A dangerous situation at a Warrens cold storage building this morning. A lightning strike set the back half of Warrens cold storage on fire with one person inside. Firefighters ended up battling the blaze for 6 hours and safely evacuated the individual. Crews were able to contain the fire from spreading to the floor below, which was full of hazardous materials. No injuries reported, though both Warrens cold storage and the nearby American Berry Company building have significant smoke and water damage. Wisconsin's Department of Public Instruction will not sign a federal request on Title VI compliance. Title VI relates to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, preventing discrimination based on race, color, and national origin. Now, the Trump administration is attempting to withhold federal dollars from schools unless they get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. DPI, in a letter today, says it will not submit a new certification request because the state's schools already comply with federal law. The state superintendent says this request amounts to federal overstepping.
We trust our educators to make those decisions. We trust the superintendents. We trust the locally elected school boards, the teachers, and in cooperation with parents, to make these decisions for our kids, not Washington, D.C.
Underly says any new grant conditions also need proper notice and rulemaking procedures, which she says were not followed in this federal request. Federal dollars currently make up 10% of education spending in Wisconsin. Another Eau Claire candidate is entering the race for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. Business owner and former Eau Claire City Council member Laura Benjamin is running to challenge Congressman Derek Van Orden. She is the 3rd Democrat to join the contest alongside Emily Berge and Rebecca Cook. Benjamin plans to launch her campaign with a town hall meeting April 22nd at the Brewing Project. Wisconsin's governor is celebrating the latest ruling from the state Supreme Court. News 8 Now's Grace Monk joins us from the newsroom with the decision.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court is upholding Governor Tony Evers' partial veto to increase school funding for the next 400 years. In 2023, Evers line vetoed a section of the budget to increase school funding by $325 per student for the next 2 years. Evers slashed hyphens and numbers to change the end date from the 2024-25 school year to the 2425 school year. State Superintendent Jill Underly says the ruling is a win for public schools.
We have to continue to do what's best for kids. And districts have been asking for sustainable, predictable revenue for years, and they absolutely deserve it.
But she also says that state lawmakers need to do more.
As we're negotiating for the next budget, and the Joint Finance Committee is looking at how much they want to fund schools, I think, again, they need to look at the bigger picture. We really need special education reimbursement.
The Supreme Court ruling comes from a lawsuit that claims Evers' veto was unconstitutional. In a statement to News 8 Now, Wisconsin GOP member Ryan Hipsch says the 4-3 ruling is, quote, the first of many decisions where 4 liberal justices will be rewriting the law in the manner they wish rather than in the way it was written. Governor Evers also released a statement saying the decision is great news for Wisconsin kids and schools. Reporting in the newsroom, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Grace. Today, Christians here and around the world are marking Good Friday. This was the service earlier at St. Joseph the Workman Cathedral. Good Friday officially commemorates the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. People also took part in the 16th annual Justice and Peace Walk. The Franciscan Spirituality Center is behind it. The 2-mile prayer walk reflects on the journey of Jesus to his crucifixion. It started at the corner of Market and 9th Streets, and people of all ages and faiths were there.
This event is like a living expression of what we believe Jesus did 2,000 years ago. And we're actually walking in the footsteps of people who are suffering today in various ways.
The walk from start to finish lasted about 2 hours. La Crosse's annual brush pickup is almost here. It begins on Monday. You're asked to bundle up your branches with cotton string, keep them under 4 feet and 50 pounds, and have them at the curb by 7 a.m. Monday. The Isle La Plume drop-off site also accepts brush on weekends, Mondays, and Tuesdays. Now, a heads up for weekend yard work plans that Isle of Plume Brush and Yard Waste site does close this Sunday for Easter. Regular garbage and recycling collection continues without interruption. The site reopens Monday morning at 10 a.m. La Crosse's Cameron Park will host a temporary dog park this spring. Council members voting to move it from Burns Park, which will instead be used to host the farmers market starting next month. The seasonal dog park opens next month and will then operate through August.
Well, going forward this weekend, we got some good news and we got some bad news, unfortunately, too. But overall, I think it won't be too bad this for the Easter weekend. But right now, for this evening, we actually have showers, probably more drizzle, even some mist out there with the lingering cloud cover, as you can see in the camera for La Crosse. Quite a bit that overhead. Now, the rainfall for the last 24 hours, two areas. One to the north was the activity that we had yesterday evening before it kind of dissipated going further south. The stuff to the south that went through southwest Wisconsin, northeast Iowa, that was the stuff that we had this morning. All those little dots there, those circles there, that's all the hail reports they had from Grant County all the way down to Madison. They had ping pong, golf ball, even some baseball sized hail. So we had some strong storms, but we didn't have quite the hail that we had there. Now overall, right now we have a few showers out there that are developing as some of the daytime heating this evening. That's going to continue, so don't be surprised that you might see a little bit of shower or sprinkle or even some mist too. Nothing that's going to really impact too much, but you definitely might need the umbrella for a little bit occasionally. You can see as we time those out, this activity will increase throughout the evening, and then after about 9 to 10, it'll start kind of dissipating, as well as the cloud cover will start actually scattering out a little bit going overnight. And that's what you'll see going forward. So going forward, we'll kind of break down what it's to look like for Easter, whether which dog will be happy there or not happy there. But and then we'll kind of time out when to expect to rain, how much we're going to get, and what the temperatures look like going forward to next week too.
All right, a lot to break down. Thanks, Greg. Well, spring has sprung, and that means so have allergies. So what can you do to treat symptoms?
If you think you have or suspect you have a pollen or a mold allergy, changing your clothes. Sometimes people even take a quick rinse off shower just to get it off their body. And then use a little bit of saline in your nose can help just kind of just get rid of whatever's accumulated in your nose, just to get it out of your body, out of your nose.
Some other common ways to reduce symptoms is to limit exposure by staying indoors more. Don't exercise outside in the evening when pollen counts are at their highest, and use the AC rather than opening windows. You have one more chance to shred any important documents for free. Today, Harder's Quick Cleanup hosted the first day of its two-day shredding event. People are able to bring up to 100 pounds of sensitive documents for secure destruction at no cost.
Anyone in the community can bring in 100 pounds of shredding material for free. It's just kind of our way to give back to the community.
Now, there is a charge once you start getting over that 100-pound mark. Tomorrow's event will be at the Industrial Park on Larson Street from 8 a.m. until noon. The administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act has one family separated and fighting for justice. After the break, President Trump's surprising response when asked about the controversial deportation policy.
Save on Stressless by the truckload at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Every season, Stressless updates styles and leathers, but first, we need to make room. At Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota, we took advantage of big discounts on discontinued styles, leathers, and overstocks. Now we're passing a truckload of savings on to you. You'll find sofas, love seats, chairs, and ottomans, even power recliners, all at amazingly low prices. Don't delay. Quantities are extremely limited. Take advantage of truckload savings on Stressless, only at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota.
From the creators of bacon, Applewood smoked ham, ham and Swiss melts, 2 for $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
At Overhead Door Company, we repair any garage door and only install the best. Serving up to 100 miles outside of the Onalaska, Wisconsin area. When you need a door company you can trust with your life, call Overhead Door Company of the Seven Rivers region.
Does Random Starship Mortgage sponsor your kids' t-ball team? I doubt it. Firefighters Credit Union is a strong, reliable lender that has been a proud member of the community for nearly a century. Trust Firefighters Credit Union for your next home loan. Call Matt or Troy today.
Everybody's welcome at Firefighters Credit Union.
Mega Millions game is super exciting!
There are prize multipliers built into every play. So the lowest prize you can win is $10. Plus, it has
$5 Mega Millions really is something to shout about.
It's available at Wisconsin lottery retailers near you, like this one.
Classes remain canceled at Florida State University in Tallahassee as authorities investigate a deadly mass shooting on campus. 2 people were killed, including 57-year-old Roberto Morales, an FSU employee who leaves behind a wife and a daughter. 6 others were injured. Police identified the suspect as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, an FSU student and stepson of a local sheriff's deputy. Authorities say one of the weapons used was his stepmother's former service weapon.
Chest and abdomen.
3 of them did go to the operating room and have since been out of the operating room. We do feel that all will make a full recovery.
The suspect remains hospitalized after a shootout with police. The Trump administration says it's prepared to walk away from peace talks with Russia and Ukraine if both sides don't make progress soon. This comes as the White House may also be preparing to deport more migrants under a rarely invoked wartime act that allows for deportations without due process. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
President Trump says time is running out for Ukraine and Russia to reach a deal to end their war.
No specific number of days, but quickly.
During a meeting with European allies, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. is preparing to walk away from diplomacy talks unless progress is made in the coming days.
We've reached a point where we have other things we have to focus on. We're prepared to be engaged in this as long as it takes, but not indefinitely, not without progress.
Trump laid out what he wants to see when talks resume next week.
My whole life has been one big negotiation, and I know when people are playing us, and I know when they're not, and I have to see an enthusiasm to want to end it.
President Trump was also asked about reports that 2 Venezuelan men detained in Texas have been told they will be deported under the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime law the administration invoked for swift deportations without due process.
I don't know about the group you're talking about, but if they're bad people, I would certainly authorize it, yeah.
The White House continues to defend its deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, releasing this image of him from a 2022 traffic stop with 8 other people in a vehicle, saying it raises concerns about human trafficking. Abrego Garcia's wife responded, saying her husband was not cited or charged with a crime and should be here to defend himself, not in a Salvadoran prison. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
We'll have more news ahead, but first.
Actually, not too bad a Saturday going forward, but unfortunately on Easter, we're going to have some showers come in towards the afternoon, so we'll time out when to expect it, how much rain going forward, and what the temperatures look like going on until next week. That all coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
At US Cellular, we're celebrating our customers, like JP here. It's a special event. Us days.
Yeah, we get special rewards and exclusive deals, and it's only for US Cellular customers. It's like we got our own special club.
Should we show them?
Us days at US Cellular. Right now, our customers can get $1,200 off any phone plus $500 off any tablet.
Hey golfers, don't miss this golden golf deal at Drugan's Castle Mound. Get a full 7-day-a-week golf membership for only $700 for 2025. Limited $700 memberships are available. Visit Drugans.com or call 608-526-4144 to get your membership before this great deal is done.
At Drugan's Country Club, yes, Drugan.
Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Okay, hold on. I don't think it's gonna pivot anymore.
Just like pivoting from heating to cooling season, it's a difficult adjustment.
Pivot in the summer, called GNT.
Pivot. Shut up.
Called GNT.
For the best heating and air conditioning, guaranteed.
Yeah, overall, we're going to look at high temperatures for tomorrow. Not too bad, basically back in the 50s too. Could be low 50s up to the north, but notice a difference here in clouds. Basically, a northwest wind will keep it fairly cool, but all in all, we'll have plenty of sunshine going into the afternoon time frame. Now, going into Easter, it's a little bit of a different story. Dry morning, 30s in the morning to probably mid-50s, low 50s by noon. Once you get in the afternoon, a question of exactly the shower activity. I think it'll be scattered further south. You go better chance, but that will be a hit and miss type in the afternoon, and then really steady rain, even thunderstorms in the evening hour going overnight. So it's really going to be a wet Sunday night into early Sunday morning along with thunderstorms. So for the most part, Easter will be dry, cloud cover, maybe a little bit cool, but I think the wet weather will hold off at least most of the day. Now, there's your temperatures for Sunday, and notice the difference. It's actually warmer to the north and cooler to the south, given that far southern areas will have the cloud cover first and the precipitation chance before we get further north. So you might actually get close to 60 for Eau Claire and areas up in that further north, while areas south will struggle to get to the low 50s. Now, as we go into the rain chances, I mentioned cloud cover will be on the increase probably Saturday night, Sunday morning. There comes your precipitation as this low begins to lift north towards the area. So that'll probably be south of I-90. Some light rain or showers begin to approach. They come a little bit more scattered, and they may get as far north by 6 p.m. as I-94 or Eau Claire. As the low begins to push further north, this is when it gets a little bit more interesting for Sunday afternoon and evening, because depending on where this low goes, it depends if we're going to have more thunderstorm activity going on or just steady light rain. And right now it looks like at least an opportunity for some thunderstorms Sunday evening as it lifts north and then turns to really moderate potential rainfall going overnight Sunday as you see the low begins to lift right over the area. This will begin to spread further north overall, and then late Sunday night into early Monday morning, if we get enough cooler in the backside of this low to come through, we might see some areas briefly mix with snow or change over. Still a question of when that'll happen. It won't accumulate, but you might see that going through. And then Monday, the low begins to lift off to the northeast. We'll still have on and off showers, probably at least through the morning out time frame, and then drying out towards the afternoon time frame. So right now the severe risk has been painted further south, but the way this low is beginning to track further north and west allows us to get a little bit warmer. So I think we might have to keep an eye out for southeast Wisconsin, northern Illinois, to see if we do get type of stronger storms. So stay tuned. This might change a little bit, but we definitely are going to get wet till that period as we go throughout. Now, temperatures going into Monday as you come back to work are going to stay fairly cool given all the precipitation. That north wind will be back in the 50s, maybe upper 40s. So kind of a raw start to the work week, but the good news is we do see warmer temperatures ahead. Another good soaker of rain, regardless of what goes on with the system. A lot of areas are going to get 1 inch to 1.5 inches, potentially maybe even higher. So we're really going to pretty much get rid of all the deficits we had for any type of precipitation for the year and the month. Once we get to next week, we should start seeing a little bit of a warming trend. Unfortunately, it's still unsettled. There's not really a dry period in store. Pretty much no 2 days are dry, but we do get better. Looks like we're going to be approaching potentially 70 by next week, or at least have a better shot of it.
All right, well, fingers crossed it does come to fruition.
Yes. So overall, not a bad Easter weekend. It could be worse, but it could be obviously better.
For sure. Thanks, Greg. Coming up next in sports, back on the track. UW-La Crosse hosting the Phil Eston Challenge, and a lot of area athletes are in action. Cade is next.
Proper installation of your new windows make a difference. The team at Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions are factory trained to make sure your windows are installed to last. Call or stop into the showroom for your free estimate.
It's good to know your Touchstone Energy Cooperative is always there.
For generations, we've powered the growth of our community. Today, our commitment is stronger than ever to provide affordable energy you can depend on and keep you connected to what matters most, now and for generations to come. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
We have a very special bond, I think, as a family. Spectrum is the connecting thread to everything we do.
It provides us with reliability, lightning speeds, and allows us to do what we need to do in our lives.
From school to homework to entertainment, Spectrum's the perfect match for me and my family.
Fast, reliable internet starting at $30 a month, backed by the Spectrum commitment to keep you connected.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
Before we get to Easter weekend, a bunch of track athletes took over UWL for the Phil Eston Challenge. A few of UWL's track stars still ramping up for the outdoor season, but there was plenty of action going on this afternoon. Let's go there. We had a lot of local athletes back in town, including former Central Riverhawk Leo Orlkowski at the high jump pit. He would clear 6'1" and a quarter. Only 2 jumpers had higher jumps. 110 hurdles. That's former Logan Ranger Avon Smith representing Viterbo. He would qualify for the finals in 15.11. 100-meter dash. Here's a former Onalaska Hilltopper, Taylor Moline. She's running for the UWL Eagles. She would finish her prelim in 12.25. Same race, Heat 3. Former Caston Eagle Braylee Hyatt running for the V-Hawks. She would finish her prelim in 12.55. And in the 400, former Wazeeka Steuben Hornet Seth Bunders representing Ripon College, and the freshman would finish in 50.09, good enough for 5th place. This weekend, the playoffs officially get underway. The Bucks will kick off action tomorrow at noon, taking on the Indiana Pacers on ESPN. It's a rematch of last year's first-round matchup, but the biggest difference this time around, Giannis is healthy and is by far the best player in the series. But it's the Pacers who are the favorites to advance to round 2. In the Western Conference, maybe my favorite first-round matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves up against the LA Lakers. Game 1 set for tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Lakers are the favorites to advance as, of course, they have LeBron and Luka Doncic, but something tells me Anthony Edwards isn't going to be scared at all. And we've got the Stanley Cup playoffs starting this weekend as well. Minnesota Wild taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Game 1 for that series set for Sunday at 9 p.m. on ESPN. The Wild haven't won a playoff series since 2015. Our first play of the week winner from the spring season, and for it, we go to the Viroqua Park Bowl. Jack Dahl of the Blackhawks had to run a mile to track this ball down. Full sprint, full extension. I mean, that is a tough catch, and you get Play of the Week honors for it. If you think you've got a Play of the Week winning play, you can send it over to news8@wkbt.com. Now, going back to the playoffs, we're not big on predictions on this show, but in the ode to the great Lee Corso, I feel like we got to make some. So I'm thinking I think the Bucks will pull it off. 7 games to get Dame back, and then maybe the Timberwolves also in 7. Why not?
Yeah, I think you're right on there. I mean, I got to go Bucks in 6. Classic.
Of course, classic.
Brandon Jennings first coined it. And the seedings are in the Western Conference are completely misleading because the way those standings edged out, everyone was within a game or two of each other. So it's a very evenly matched 3-6 matchup. And when Ant is locked in, those Timberwolves are more than capable of going to the finals, let alone beating LeBron and Luka. So let's keep the local love going. We'll go T-Wolves and Bucks both making it through.
I agree. All right, we'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Get the day's news in your inbox. Email newsletters from News 8 Now. Sign up today. Go to news8000.com/newsletters to get started.
We see you out there building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, just $59.99 after $10 rebate. Now with 25% more lawn coverage, up to 15,000 square feet per bag, Weed and Feed clears out pesky dandelions, clover, and more. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
All right, a few evening showers. Probably the showers will extend to about midnight or so. Then we'll see decreasing clouds for all the areas. Back in the 30s, near 40. Lighter winds, too. We'll have more sun going on for Saturday. Now going to Easter Sunday, dry morning. Unfortunately, scattered showers as less as you go further north. And then steady rain, even thunderstorms likely for Sunday evening going into Monday. So it's a wet period, but we do get maybe 70 next week.
Something to look forward to. Thanks for joining us at 6. We'll see you at 10.